Hello, this is Brenda, Power Medicine Woman, and today is Valentine's Day in the United States. But it is the day after. Still qualifies for understanding, what is relationships? What are relationships? What does it mean with your soul to have a relationship with another soul? It's so important to understand that relationships are so important because they are aspects of ourselves. And I love seeing all these beautiful names and faces and greetings. We'll wait a few more minutes for more people to come in before I start really talking about what is relationships. So Valentine's Day, it is that part of that love for yourself. Yeah, you can feel the generation out there. You can feel how it's pulled. Now, some of you I know have walked in and allowed yourself to go to the shops, do all these things, and all of a sudden you're thinking, oh, I don't have a Valentine's Day, or I don't have any money. And you have to remember, everything creates energies. It pulls you in. The stores are notorious because the aisles are set up just correctly. It is an advertisement. The generation, I say the paradigm of saying, oh, you're supposed to feel bad or long for love. And you have a choice. I mean, I did those things too. And I felt those things. And the sad part is, I fell for it. And what do I mean by falling for it? I mean, I'll go to the store. Now, I love rose gold. But all of a sudden, it's like I go in the store. Oh, I want a necklace that's rose gold. I want a purse that's rose gold. And I'm walking around realizing, wait a minute, stop. I'm connecting more with spirit. And I said, okay, am I picking up that I really want, my authentic self really wants rose gold? Yeah. But am I really wanting it in this thing about just, hey, I really want to buy it? No, my authentic self says, no, you don't really want it. And it was rather amazing because I'm like, okay, I don't think of me. Then I got talking to a friend and they're saying, oh, my mother wants rose gold. Oh, my mother has lots of those. And it's like, oh, so, and it's the same for food, same anywhere. So I have a hard time going out unless I zip up. What do I mean by zipped up? Thank you for sharing, Tabby. Lenny will be on hopefully by 1:30, and if not, I'm keeping note, and I'll have to do it. But all in all, it's good. So what did I just say? And what is? See, now they just dropped me so I can pay attention to you, and I just forgot what I was going to say. Any of you remember what I just said before I said hello or hi to everybody? That would be good. I'm waiting for them to put me back online. It's that connecting. Hooking up. Thank you. So, hooking up. It's a healing tool. Energy medicine. Donna Eden brought it to light, and it's important. If you're touching the third eye and, my belly button, and you're pushing in and lifting up, and as you breathe in, you straighten up the spine. Breathing is important because it moves things. But that's not all. And you stay this way for a good 30 seconds to a minute, especially if you're doing the zip up, which means you're intentionally zipping up with your hands, front and back, because the back governing comes forward and the central comes up. And you're locking it with a key, and nobody else has the key but you. But the importance of this is that we're very vulnerable to or susceptible to energies around us. When this central meridian is down, now just to let you understand about what the central meridian does, if it's open, it's like you're like gut open like a pig. You're very vulnerable, and you'll feel vulnerable. You'll feel excess of shame, humiliation, embarrassed, wounded pride, self-conscious of right and wrong to I'm self-conscious, awkwardness, bashfulness, dishonor, bullied, disgrace, disapproved, infamy, and So, it goes on. When people send their shit, or they're floating around of being in their space, or they just left a F-bomb in the area, any of this, your system registers it more, because it's like, I got to be on alert. I have to check. I have to look. I have to be. And then all of a sudden, your body, your immune system, everything starts to mimic on the outside. And if it is unhealthy, you'll start to feel it. Same for when the governing meridian, if it goes this way, if it's open. Okay. If it is open, then you bet the back of you is exposed. Okay. And that's paranoia. I mean, this list of this one goes to guilt, false pride, paranoia. You're doing your best to do false self-assuredness, arrogance, disdain, haughtiness, loftiness. You're thinking, I'm not those things, but you have to be when you need to protect yourself. You're like, okay, I have to exert this particular nature so that I won't be attacked, So it's important to see how you feel. Because most of the time you guys are running around thinking it's you. It's not. So zip up, imagine, literally do it here. But if you look like an idiot and you got that paranoid thing, fine. Imagine it in your head, practice it. And you can just go like this and go, oh, nobody needs to know what you're doing. And I have my hand on my belly button. You're pushing in and you're lifting up. And you're breathing, getting the energy flowing. And it connects those two, which creates an egg around you. Just imagine yourself in the middle. It creates an egg. Very important. And then you can actually learn to feel better and stronger. So now you just breathe in and out. Getting back to relationships. Relationships are so important. Now, like I said, you're very vulnerable and paranoid, all these things, whatever, you're exposed. Okay? You have to learn to own your power. And every time you have an incident from the past that has to do with traumas, dramas, and you can recycle. Like I see a lot of people have particular things where you have to have so much quota of hell each day. Stress each day. And some of your little buttons are stuck and they don't go to rest and digest, even though you're thinking you're resting. No, it's stuck. Hi, all. And you have to remember when that happens, you're not going to be you. You're not going to be your authentic self. Screw that. You won't, because it's hard to connect to your higher self when all of your circuitry are on those programs, on what the ego thinks, what your programs to stay alive are. And you really have to unlearn a lot of things that you learn to pacify, cope, and deal. Because the more that you let in spirit, the more this out here becomes healthier. The more the physical becomes healthier. And you get a heck of a lot happier. I put out an authentic video because people think that authenticity is about just doing the right thing. Or I've met other people that think, okay, I'm not going to act that way. Well, you can stuff it all you want, but that's not authenticity. The authenticity is when those roots and everything are pulled out and you can feel yourself. You can feel your spirit. You can feel when you're disconnected. You can feel and you hear, whatever sensory system you use, it's the knowing. But most of the time people get stuck in the knowing. I know she gave me a dirty look. I know. You're stuck in your lens. You're letting ego instead of your higher self run your show. When it comes to relationships, I've improved over everyone I've done. They're stepping stones. But this last time, before I got married this time, in my last marriage, it's like, okay, I've grown because I needed to for my soul's sake, for my sake. And as I grew, he stayed where he's at, or he grew sideways, or he grew away from me. But the synchronicity, the being in sync, was not there. No matter how much we tried to love each other. We were just not on the same page, even to the point where he told me many years before I left, it was, I'm sorry, I don't like what you do. I don't want to be a part of it. Just keep who you are to yourself. I don't want it. And I'm like, whoa, I expected him to be there for me. And it just hit me so hard that it literally made my feelings of my spirit jumping out of my body. I couldn't feel like I could be in my body. So I was like outside my body as I'm laying next to him. And how am I supposed to respond? Because my program is to be a good girl. And so now my program is as though I don't want to upset him, because if he does, then I can't handle the explosion. So it's like, what do you do? And so, learning to cope, handle, and deal. And thank God I got tools, because I went back and I healed that. Now, I was working with somebody and they're like, oh, I shouldn't have told somebody this. But they were fine, hours earlier. Well, I had to tell this person. And we did some work. And, maybe I shouldn't have told them this. And I thought, wait a minute. You were completely fine. Now that you've healed some of the stuff, you understand what we did was we went back and we changed that timeline. We changed that, tweaked it. We helped that age that you were. And it changes and recalibrates into the now and into the future. So it's so important to understand that you collapse time. That's how you create reality every single day. So how do you want to collapse reality? How do you want to be? How is it that you want that relationship? You can build it on, both of you have the old-fashioned generation feeling of, what do you want to call it? What's the best way to say that? The generation is letting the paradigms run you, letting your programs of how you have to be, stand up, fight for your rights, always having to have that paradigm that you've got to be on guard, impending doom. All those little tiny things. And hopefully this will make sense to you, okay? Because you can change that. And the more you change who you are and you get into that authentic self, instead of all those programs, instead of stifling it, instead of trying to fake it till you make it, you literally begin to break down all of those patterns. And when you do that, then you get to the stage where all of a sudden you can be more authentic. Now, in this relationship, we wrote into our vows. I don't have it in front of me right now, but our vows were, when we come in, we were out of sync, which can be a fight, a twang. A twang is a feeling that, I can't talk to him right now. You got a cool down period, but you don't just talk about it. You sit there and you heal your shit first. You change that lens. Now, if they're not willing to do that, then they can grow apart from you. But if you're on the same page and you're writing your page, he's over there writing his page, I'm up here writing my page, and it's similar. It's amazing how all of a sudden you become in sync. You don't have to butt heads. You feel this link even when you're not together. And it's an incredible feeling. And that's what I wanted. And what does that mean for me? It means that I'm extremely happy. I look forward to him from coming home. So is he. I'm excited to, sleep in bed at the same bed, in the same room. I'm excited every day to get up and hello and greet him, act goofy, be a child, whatever I want to be. And he does the same. We allow ourselves to be loving and playful, and we don't look at each other with those critical eyes and all those fears and all of that stuff. We don't have to. That's the beauty of it all, is we don't have to. So what does that all mean for you? It means that you can redefine your relationships. It means you don't have to be, what do you want to call it? You don't have to be in a state where fear, negativity, worry, guilt, shame. You don't have to be any of that. Now, I can't see any of my comments. I have no idea where they went. And I'm trying very hard to figure out where they went. Oh, no, I hope that doesn't change it. I don't know where it went. Aha, there it is. Okay, good. There it is. Well, that was odd. It's like, I know there's a delay, but good gracious. Now, relationships. You're in the relationship you are now. You don't get to start over, but you can. You get to establish what you would like, not force it, not change it. It's not about them. It's about here. You start to find your authentic self by healing and resolving all the things you're not. And every time you decide that, okay, I'm done. I'm done with that negativity. I'm done seeing him through those eyes. And you know, if you're always your reaction or automatic response or action is built upon having to protect yourself, put up walls and boundaries, that relationship is going to be rocky because you're going to be presented by your soul every time. You ready to heal this? And so you're going to have little twinges and bitch slaps and things so that you can feel crappy every day because those are thought forms. Those are forms that were made out of thoughts and they need to be fed, and you feed them every day. You need to starve them. Now, in my last relationship, I started doing thank you therapy. It's the same thing as gratitude, but I got up before I got out of bed. Thank you. Thank you for a great day. Thank you for my food, because I know I'm going to have breakfast, maybe dinner, and it'd be great if it'd be lunch, something that doesn't put on weight, something exciting. I lived in expectancy. And I said, thank you all the time. And I was so mad at him one time, and I made a video about it, that I started to be thankful. I'm thankful that he does go to work. I'm thankful that he, does show up when he can. And I was grasping for thank yous. But at the same time, the relationship between him and me, it was good on my end, but I didn't have to feel his crap towards me. I used to feel his resentment towards me so much that it was making me sick every single day. I mean, it would slap me down. And I kept saying, well, why am I projecting this? And they said, because you don't realize you're taking him on. So it took me a while to learn how, and it's more than just the hookup and the zip up, to stop taking him on. And stop taking things personal and stop doing that. So it's, that song, Need to Let It Go. Well, when somebody comes to you and says, you got to let that shit go, the thing is you can't. You literally need to resolve it. Those chemical peptides will kick your ass every time, and it'll take you right down that road and your thoughts, and you just run with those thoughts because sometimes they feed you, oh, that feels good to feel angry. Even though it's not doing your body any world of good, it's poison. It lowers the frequency, and even though you're trying to keep your high vibration, your frequency is what keeps you healthy. So you have to really pay attention to how you feed those thought forms. And you have to be okay with, I know that I created those thought forms. I am supplying food to these thought forms. I am doing this. And when you start to realize more about who you are, the more you're going to think, I'm done. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that person anymore. So it's not about flaws. These are about old habits. I mean, the generation gap. I mean, everybody comes in and has their things they're supposed to learn, heal, and deal, and be with, okay? Every time. And so then, your parents now, you grow up to be a parent, and you parent differently than your parent, and they parent differently than their parent, and you always want to do something better than, you always want to do something better than how you were raised. Now, it doesn't mean they didn't do a bad job or they didn't do a good job. It's just that you were meant to break paradigms and help consciousness, raise consciousness. But half the time we get caught up in them and then they just run us. So this is what's called over-identifying with matter, over-identifying with your lens, over-identifying to the point where your ego is the one that is, in charge. And no, that's not who you are. That's not your authentic self. I mean, I'm asking Spirit every day, what are we supposed to do? How are we supposed to do this? And Spirit says, you need to teach them, the different paradigms, how to see it, how to see your soul differently than, the way, because when I was not this, I remember who I was. And it was sad, depressed, always emotionally, everything just seemed unstable all the time. It was like, oh my God. It hit me to the point that my tolerance level is I've had enough. And everything I was scared to do, I just stood up and says, I'm on strike. I'm not doing this. Done. Now, my ex will hate those words. I'm done. Because he couldn't find the buttons to push anymore. He knew that we were separating further and further. But he also didn't want to take accountability for the things that he said to me and the way he treated. And I always did my best to be accountable that I may have hurt his feelings. I apologize. But that trained also him to, she'll take the blame. And it was like, no, I stand firm that I know that this is what part I played and I'm done. And so you just slowly decide to keep growing. Because what do? Do you shut yourself off because you have to wait? Well, there's a difference between waiting, knowing that they're going to grow with you, and then shutting it off because you're never going to grow with you, so you may as well not grow either. I mean, I left. I left twice. I left, and the first time. And all my one family member said to me was, what happened? I says, we just grew in separate ways. I needed to grow in this area and he needed to be where he is. And she's like, well, why'd you do that? That's stupid. Go back to what you're doing. And I'm like, wait, what? We were out of sync. I love this family member, but I also respect where she's at, and I can't do that anymore. I'm not going to conform. Now, if you're in a generation where you're supposed to conform and you're supposed to do this because that's the way the paradigm said, and you're born to be different, but everybody else did, that because you're supposed to shatter those paradigms. That was the relationship you chose, was that, what, I don't want to live that way. And you were to shatter that particular, so then you did a service for the world. And every time somebody else went and said, nope, 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 and it's not just about being a rebel. I was a silent rebel, but you can. And every one of you will sit there and grow. And as you begin to grow, you are setting the tone for everybody else. Now, again, one kid out of 5 in the family, that's one person over here. And think about all of the people on the planet. Each one of us are these little tiny pillars that are helping to change consciousness. So thank you. Thank you for being different than the rest. Now to heal your health so that you can get into happiness and joy. Well, and Robin says when the kids get older and the pressure of the parents lessen and you get to go back to the beginning of being a couple. That's true for some, but others, that's the identity, and that identity is gone and they can't figure out how to get back to one another. And same for when, again, are you willing to grow with each other? I've never had a wonderful relationship as good as the one I have now. It's just completely different, amazing, and wonderful. And if it wasn't for me to find my authentic self and to step out and say, I am done, instead of repeating, I adventured and followed spirit. It's the happiest I ever did. It's better than I could have ever imagined or created. And so, yes, it is true that people can get back to being a couple. And then some, it depends on if you're constantly out of sync. If you're taking two different parallel paths, you're like, but two different ones. There's that you've grown and had enough experience on a different part of you that it just can't happen. Or there's too many lenses. So growth is important. Okay, so I am accepting if anybody wants readings, then again, it's 11 for 11 minutes for $11, however you choose to want to do it. Just go to that PayPal. Remember, there's no www. If you go to my webpage, and what's the difference between my webpage and my email is there's a dot between power and MW. So I'd be looking forward to wanting to do readings. And I will be having free readings at the end. I'm just checking to see if there's anybody wrote me. Nope. Good. Okay. From Connecticut. Wonderful. Oh, wonderful. Thank you for sharing. Now, okay. I'm just reading what Tabitha wrote. Some people will change their mindset. Now, that's an interesting thing because people will mellow. How I've learned that one was simply I would go into relationships, and I would meet their parents. And I see them from a whole different point of view. And then you listen to their kids, and you're like, oh, I don't see that at all. And I started noticing that as you get to a certain age, you start to mellow. You start to change your mindset. You just get more laid back, or some I've seen get more strict, or they're checking out. But all right. I'm just reading it, but I'm not sure if I can read it out loud. But so I was just checking on it. So it's interesting. I get to read these comments afterwards. That's so that's fun. Any particular thing that you want to talk about as far as subjects go is with do you know what I mean about being in sync? Because my relationship before, I would sit down and instantly some trigger would happen, and he would just go silent, or he would get mad and explode, or he would. And the hardest part with a comedian is you never know, there's always a joke, but underneath it, there's more than it is. I'm angry, I'm resentful, I'm having all these emotions. And so it took me a while to learn. I felt it before I learned it. And I was always correcting myself, thinking it was me, and because I didn't want to be the angry person or this. So when this person, now they just dropped me. Questions. Do you have any questions about relationships? When we were out of sync, I'd say, okay, we're out of sync, because I said, we're going to use a code word, because I went back and I said, listen, if you really want to keep this relationship, I would so love it, but you have to understand my world. You have cut me out for 10 years. Figure out who I am, be with me, live in my world, and if you want to be a part of it, great. And if not, then we can go from there. And I says, but every time that one of us we can feel it going out of sync, we'll say out of sync. And in the beginning, he did his best, but he didn't really want to. I could feel that he was going to be a cheetah. He was going to cheat it, the cat thing. He's going to run out of steam. And then who his programs are, he was just going to go back to who he was, because he chose not to want to heal anything. He didn't want to look at anything. He just wanted to live his life, and that's fine. But are we supposed to build each other in a relationship? He did his best, and it was just not, it's two good people that no longer can be in this particular space. And every time that I wanted to go and sync, he just got sick of trying to, because he didn't want to address it. And then so I'd go to heal my stuff, and it helped me open my eyes more that he is comfortable and happy where he's at. And there's nothing wrong with that. We're just now two different people that no longer can be in the same space. Can he accept it? I don't know. That was his choice. So if I can get this back up, Tabitha says, yeah, I can say it. All right, I'm gonna have to put my glasses on, my readers. Okay, they're my husband's. My husband is 54, and yes, he has flaws, but I can say he has changed his mindset over the 15 years of us being together. But now we are not just a couple, we are a team. That is what, towards the end of that one relationship, is that I wanted to be a team. And we did teamwork stuff. And he was fine, but I realized he's not really a team player. It's like, okay. So I was looking for a team player. But now so team player. We face shit together, good and bad and ugly, and we have 50-50. We're equal apart from my washing machine. And that's good. That's good. You guys came to a common ground. You grew together. And that's wonderful. And even with our son's issues, we actually lost our connection a couple years ago, but that was because we all were doing is looking after others, extended family, etc. But we're now a team. So yeah, you will go in and out of sync. But you both chose to want to come back together there. See, and that's beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. And she says, my husband will be thinking something, and then I will come out and say, we are definitely in sync. That's what I'm talking about. To have that, it's like a child and mother connection. But when you get it to have it with your mate, I'll be sitting in bed, and my husband will be in bed, and we're watching TV, and all of a sudden it's like, I've realized that when I feel like I want a snack, it's not me. I'll look at him and go, you want a snack, don't you? He goes, yeah, how'd you know? I said, you were thinking about it. But he's done it to me. So it's not that it has psychic abilities. It's just that our brain length waves are coming in sync. And he'll say, oh, you wanted to, I'm like, yeah, how'd you know that? I'm like, duh. But being in sync and being on the same page. But when you're fighting, it's coming back to that center instead of wanting to relish and stay in it and be in that pain. That's the hardest part, is when the people say what they want to say to hurt you, intentionally hurt you because they're hurt. Can recover from that? Do you want to recover from that? Do you want that to be established in the relationship? Because what you accept is what they think that they can step the boundaries a little bit further. She wrote something else. I get to put my glasses back on. Says he knows when I'm not coping with something. He knows he will call me and say, what's wrong, babe? And vice versa. And I'll say, that's good. You have that communication. That is awesome. It is so good. But again, when you're out of sync, you just don't work anymore. Doesn't mean the other person's bad. Doesn't mean you're bad. And you'll be the villain in their eyes and vice versa if you want to stay that way. But you're moving into a new era that has to do with learning to stop blaming. Your soul is saying, okay, you wanted this person to be the villain, to experience what this negativity is and experience what love is. And now you gotta let that shit go. And like I said in the beginning, you can't just do that. You can't just let it go, ignore it, move on, because those chemical peptides are still in your body and they're going to make you sick. And then you'll create other people to come in your space, man or woman, to show up that way. You need to go in and resolve that out of how you know it. And that's what I love to do, is to read how your soul is saying that you're connected to this situation through these emotions and through these thought forms, through these programs. And you get to break those down. It's so important. See, I came on today because I'm trying to find the right time to come on, to communicate with people, because tonight my husband is coming home and early, and hopefully we can go on a date, or we'll, I don't know. So I'm not sure Fridays are open, trying to find the right time, because I'd like to be able to connect with people in the U.S. and Canada and that eastern and central and, the U.S. area where I'm from. And at the same time, I'm connecting with all of you here in South Australia, Adelaide. And I would like to, build up friendships here. So these sharing is so important, because I'm looking for my tribe, people that think the same way I do or want to learn what empowerment through enlightenment is. Empower to be you. It's not about power. I had met this one woman that she had all this power, thinking that power, P-O-W-R, just power, was evil, because it's like, it has to do with how she grew up, that if you try to go after just power, then that's wrong. And I says, no, this is empowerment. This is to empower somebody, to feel empowered. She goes, yeah, but then you're going to have power and you shouldn't have it. And it's like, that's different. You lose power, and when you lose that power, there's nothing left to feed your body or to feed your joy. And it didn't matter how many times I try to communicate it, Spirit says, shh, just shh, let that go, let it go. And I'm like, why? Spirit says, because vibration wise, you guys are in a different vibration. You're in a different frequency. She can't hear you. I'm like, oh, it's like when spirits are on the other side, that frequency is different. I can hear them to some degree. Other people can see them. And then there's some people that just can't see them at all. It's that frequency. I'm like, oh, I get it. And so I realized I was talking to somebody that didn't have the capability to hear those frequencies that I was saying in the words. So I'm looking for that tribe. I'm looking to see what it is and how we do things. Now, I feel a card is necessary for I say I don't want to do future readings, but when people are so high beta, is this marriage going to work? Is this going to work? When you're in high beta and you ask me to do a reading, I already can see all the variables, and it's all these different choices. You're going to say, yes, you believe in it, and then all of a sudden you have all these doubts. You have a whole nother set. And then you're like, no, I don't believe it. And then you have a whole nother set that will drag you backwards and say, here's proof. Then I see the chords that says you're going to repeat the same particular pattern, or that you're in a strategy. You have to go through this much hell to get to what you want. Now, when I'm helping a person to set their GPS to happiness, I can go in and look at, see what would stop it. What are the blocks? I have a meditation, or in this case, I'm showing you how to do it. And you throw the lasso out. It's called the golden lasso. And then, like Wonder Woman, the lasso of truth, well, you throw the golden lasso out. And as you throw it out, it extends all the way around you. And as you're pulling it in, now before you throw it out, you have to have something to aim at. Happiness, okay? So you throw it out, you're bringing in happiness, and as you start to pull in, you start to feel, not happiness, but, okay, I'm going to have it, and I have it, and you're like, no, I don't. And then you stop pulling the lasso, and you heal how you know you don't. And then you keep pulling it in. Oh gosh, I hear all these people tell me, you got to heal that. So as you begin to pull that golden lasso in, you begin to heal all of those little things that say you can't have happiness, or you don't believe in happiness, or happiness equals hell, or happiness I can only have it for 2 seconds because the other shoe will drop. You begin to heal those little things, and eventually you'll have resolved a lot of those things out. So you can have that future that you want. And you may find out that it changed if you get very specific. So what does a higher self for, whoever says here, I'm here, I'm going to look up and I'm going to pick a card from your higher self. And your higher self has got a message for you. Now, this is picked up just from the higher self. This is not with the other side. They'd love to. They're just kind of peering over. They're waiting. But, whoever wants. Okay, so Robin. I'm just going to pick a quick higher self card. Oh, Mammy, who is it? Grandma? I don't know. That's the card she picked. Okay. Now, the deck I'm using is called Energy Oracle Cards. Now, Lenny's here. So just understand, she's going to go through all those things. Put your name in the box and the hope chest. And if you want a chance for a reading, there'll be 3, 7, 7, and 10. Just know to share this, and she will go in. And we can't verify certain things, but we'll trust your word, and we'll put your name in the box. Okay. Now, I'm on YouTube, too. So I'll be putting stuff on YouTube. So you want to probably find me on there, too. So Medicine Woman for You. It's a number 4 and the letter U. You. There. The deck, like I said, it's Energy Oracle Cards by Sandra Ann Taylor. Your card that your grandma or somebody picked for your higher self, because your higher self says, I can't draw it, so she did. And it didn't focus in right, but it says 4th chakra, the Archangel Raphael. Let's find out what that's about. So, yep, gonna need my readers. Okay, the number is 38. What does your higher self, and it's in the upright position? Emotions of desire, life force energy. The powerful archangel. That's interesting. Wrong one. But that's not by accident. Really? What do you want us to know? Your 3rd chakra and your 4th chakra. Okay, I'm not going to do a healing, but I will just do a quick little thing. Your higher self is saying that the connection between the 3rd and the 4th, the connection between the 3rd and the 4th is disconnected? No. It's not harmonizing. So they have 2 different things that are happening, and so it's like having two different GPSs set out at the same time. And the one that's the strongest is going to get the attention. So is it the 3rd? The 3rd chakra is going to get the most attention and not your 4th. And you really need to put that emotion desire if you're going to have other things to come to pass into your 4th chakra. So your 4th chakra is your heart space, is what you really need when you go to create. So that's interesting. So now, okay, so it's about the life force and the emotions of desire. So that is not in sync with the 4th chakra, which is Archangel Raphael, love, compassion, and acceptance. Raphael extends a beautiful green energy, so surrounded by gentle waves of pink, to your heart center. This card upright indicates that you now have a greater readiness to receive love from others, as well as from yourself. And remember, your 3rd chakra is getting all the attention. So even though your heart's ready to do this, you have got to bring them in harmonization. Okay. It could also indicate that a much needed healing from previous broken heart is taking place. Ooh. And your soul is saying, heal this. The tender vibration of Raphael reminds you to encourage yourself with the compassionate self-talk. No denigration, compassionate. That you desire to hear from others. Let me read that again. The tender vibrations of Raphael remind you to encourage yourself with the compassionate self-talk that you desire to hear from others. What are you hearing from others? If it's negativity, remove that lens, heal it, so that you can then say, yeah, I just heard Brenda say that she's proud of me because I'm on here. That's good. That's a good self-talk. You learn to train yourself to hear love, compassion. Instead of impending doom, you don't need to do that. Sound like Doctor Who there for a second. Know that as you do, the light from the heart center will shine with an irresistible beauty, and the universe will send people and situations that cause your sense of love and support to grow and grow. So they're asking you that, and what I can tell is that the third chakra has a particular thing, age 7, had changed the frequency so that you know, what is it? There's just injustice in this world. And so you can't help but focus, because you're the observer, on the injustice. And you can't help but to collect proof. But it does not help your heart, because it creates you created a heart wall. Well, that's a read in itself. But your higher self and the other side wants you to change that. Okay, what else do we have here? Good. Yes, subscribing is very important. YouTube, subscribe there. Even up here. Do you know that you can click follow so you can see when I post and go live, or see that I'm here first? However. Okay, so I got to catch up on everything else there. Now, higher self is that's where I want you to connect, because that's how you're going to get to your authenticity. Because that part of you connects to source. It is a straight shot. You don't have to go up and find it. And it's, source is right there. And you are source. It is part of that Holy Spirit. It's part of the source. It's part of that love. And when you begin to connect with it, minus all of the things, your hells and traumas and dramas, and you begin to heal those, you get more connected, then you'll feel when you're dropped. You'll feel when then things are, I'm in the middle of a lesson. You remember when Lenny was here and all of a sudden she was emotional? Well, her higher self was saying, and she was hanging out with her higher self, knowing she had to heal this, but her ego was like, oh my God, I'm so done. And that's a good stage, by the way, because that means you are ready to move out of that crappy situation, as long as you use your healing tools. Otherwise, people go and they find different things to solve that and make the world great again. But it is to allow yourself to be connected to that higher self so you can have authenticity. Now, all right, so it's 40. I was trying to look at the time. Welcome, Lenny. We're happy to have you here. We're wonderful that see all these beautiful faces and names, and you are now becoming more my family, because I recognize you immediately. Like when you post something or you get on, it's like, family. My family is all in the U.S., and so I don't get to really see them. They don't like video calls. They don't even like phone calls. So I sit there and mute most of the days and, type with my fingers. And do I still have a voice? Do I? And it's so hard. So anyway, the more that you can, if you have friends that are into this, or that can benefit this, and who's on this journey with you, then you will benefit all of us, because we are family. This card is for somebody that I don't know, Spirit just had me shuffle. This card is for somebody. Now, I'm going to go look for that somebody real quick. This is for Lenore. I'm not expecting that. All right, darling. You have a card that Spirit, I feel like your brothers picked it, because again, I wasn't even realize I was shuffling. And it says, Door to Personal and Healing and Happiness. It's number 34. What does that all mean? And that's not the deck or the book. This is. So Miss Lenny, I hope you're listening. I know you're probably busy picking names and throwing them in the box, and but the door, I can't read it. The door to healing and personal happiness. New beginnings in your personal life. Yay! Now I'm going to ask, is it because she had done that one particular healing online or with me? Yeah, definitely. So I can hear somebody, what's on the end of your thing? The letter P for power. Oh, and it's a heavy thing too. Like this card is a harbinger of positive change. The beautiful light-filled door opens onto a lush rainbow. Let me see if I can hold it properly. Lit spring filled with vibrant lotus flowers, whether you're walking on some inner healing, such as breaking an addiction or looking to make some external changes, such as finding a new place to live, this card signals that your life is opening and a new opportunity is about to appear. A funny thing is we were driving, me and my husband, and Alan was driving, and I'm like, we went through some part of town. And I was like, oh, Lenny. And all of a sudden I had this inspiration that she's got this whole new world opening up to her. One was to find a man if she wanted it, and she could have a little baby. And it was like, what? You know, again, these are variables and things that pop up that, you know, as long as you begin to heal and into a certain direction, and all of a sudden these things can come more in alignment to what you want. So this is so good. The changes you've been working on are ready to blossom with wonderful results. So make sure you see your personal intentions through with continued action, optimistic expectations. That's huge, Miss Lenore. Okay, so we're about ready to pick our first person to do a reading. And what I'd like to know is if, how do we want to put this? Do you know, what do you want done? Do you want a cold read? Do you want a card? Do you want whatever you want? Now, well, see, normally I'm the type of person that has to wear my glasses and then I have to take them off to read. But I don't really want to wear my glasses because my prescription, my eyes got better, but my glasses didn't come in, but my contacts did. So I have to wear contacts so I can see. And because if I wear those other ones, I still can't see, and I'd have to put these on top of my other glasses like I'm doing now with my contacts. So yeah, it's funny. Oh my goodness, that's not good, Tabby. Wow. So now her son has an allergic reaction to something. Now, hopefully if Tabby gets back on or re-listens to this later, the one thing about allergic reactions, if you know what it is, if you found the subject, you know, and sometimes it can be the other side that you're allergic to, or sensitive, or intolerant. There's three things that can happen. You'll start having reactions. When you begin to have them, it's important to start to remove the, usually an emotion that causes it to repulse into no longer be compatible. If you understand what I'm saying, because it's like a magnet. Everything's compatible, and then when it doesn't become compatible, it becomes repulsive, and then all of a sudden your physical body will show you, I mean, incredibly. So if you have the subject, then you can do a healing with it by having it in your hand and doing some healing. That's funny, Sherry, that you happen to say that. She says, if be happy with anything if my name is called out. And guess what? 1, 2, 3. Oh, the winner is Sherry Verdi. Sherry. What are you, psychic? That is so funny. Okay, so she's happy. I feel like we need to, what do we want to do? There's something to do with the past and the present and the future. Do we want to look at the future first? No. Do we want to look at the past? No, we're going to look at the present. Something, and so I got to set the timer. Yes, Lenny, I heard you. Okay. In the present moment, they said, is that you've had a situation that made you go, Really? And it's all about them. It's all about them. And there's that slight feeling that comes up, what about me? And it's, expanded importance of self. And it's not a bad thing to sit there and think, but I need to have some self-care. I need to, okay, expand importance of self. So don't look at that as a bad thing. And so they said that when you go to think about your expanded important self, now the past and the future. So the anxiety is about the future, and the past, okay, is why do you have to have anxiety? Because you distrust. What do you distrust? Well, it's not what you distrust. Is it a who? Okay, so now you're talking about something that you've learned. Yeah, it's a person. Okay, so we'll go there. And we'll look at that. So you as far as you can't trust your higher self. You can't trust that goddess part of you. You can't trust that energy. And you can't trust that energy. And why can't you trust that energy? And they said it was because the word disdain come up. But is that yours? No, it is the belief system of society, your environment. So take a second. What does your environment, your religion, your mate, your kids, your friends, your family think of this stuff? What does, they out there think? For it had influenced you to make an opinion, whether it's good or bad. Spiritually speaking, you're like, but I want it. But the felt of disdain from when people are speaking. Now, I've watched this. This is why trolls will do what they do sometimes, is energetically, they will see how many people they can influence. That energy pours off them. And they will say shit that makes you go doubt yourself. And then you're trying to figure out, you want to stand on your own 2 feet, but then if you have too many of those naysayers, what triggers is a past life of when anybody was into this type of work, what they called witchcraft, or the crone, or all these people that they listen to spirit. Okay, does this make sense to you at all? Let me know if it does. And she says that she had a miscarriage 3 weeks ago. And I am asking, does that play a part into what we're talking about? Yes. Why? It creates a panic. So now I'm just taking a second and looking at this, and it's like I'm watching how there was a part of you that trusted, but that's not the first time you distrusted, was it? No. I still hear some influences of negative thinking that makes you feel like you're supposed to distrust something. And so I'm just going to grab a card, because I can hear all these things, but they are speculations, they're thought patterns, but it's not something that's specifically. Okay. Now I'm going to ask, why did the soul, why was there a miscarriage? The energy of distrust from the child. It had nothing to do with you. Now you picked up the child's distrust. That's interesting. And it's created a great anxiety, because both of you raised your hand and the child said, okay, I'm supposed to feel and learn something. And then you were said, okay, I need to go through this experience. Again, this is all on a soul level. Who would want to lose a child? That bonding of love is incredible. And feeling so exposed. Now, okay. I'm hoping this makes some sense to you, because if you're having problems with the emotions of this miscarriage, then I would rather look at that. But in this case, you are supposed to hear from the child that you lost. And the deck they chose was the Romance Angels Oracle card by Doreen Virtue. This is When She Did Believe. The card says, worth waiting for. Divine timing is at work in your life. Now, because of this, I'm going to ask, is this soul going to come back around? Yes. And it was about timing for the both of you. Now remember, this baby, its consciousness would be signaled into the baby body. Okay? But at the same time, the baby can come and go until the baby shell is made and then comes into this world. And it still has up to 3 months to waver in and out. But the thing is that when you bless it and love it, and it's not no blame. It's just that it's whatever their issues are. But when you bless something, it helps them have energy. So I'm sending you blessings and energy right now to help you understand that, again, the baby says that when I do come in, it'll be better timing for both of us. And the consciousness it's the same soul that apparently is agreed to come in. So you get to still experience this soul. Now, there's more probably to the story, but at the same time, it's part of your distrust that you need to work with, okay? Yeah, I would say heal that out so that, and the pain that this miscarriage caused, use healing tools. You can make an appointment with me and we can go through and boom, 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 and begin to help you have sanity again, to have you feel like you're grounded, to feel like you're not, help your world make sense again. Okay? So you're not alone. All right? Oh, she's like, oh, my baby angel. Yeah. Aww. Okay. I can feel your love. It's beautiful. It is very beautiful. She said, Sherry said, the night I miscarried, the father to the baby bailed out on me. I dealt with it alone. Oh my God. Okay, so you really do need to make an appointment with me. Well, I respect where you're at. It's an option. My ex made me not trust mixed with what he put me through. Well, again, see, it was about timing. And the baby knew that, and your soul knew that on a certain level. So you're asked with a bitch slap to heal this trust issue and to attract, I don't want to say better, but attract healthier for you. Because if you don't heal this shit, you're just going to, it gets worse than the first. It takes it to the next part of your life because it's the carryover. Okay? Wow. That's incredible. Okay, so the soul, the baby, says, hey, we'll get it right. So I have a feeling that that's not going to be the problem. Okay, so we're going to heal you're going to heal not me, you. If you choose me, then fine. But you can resolve this. You can help yourself. Now, the next person. Just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, good. All right. Now, again, you were looking for a free reading. You can share, and your name goes in the box. If you want a reading, then it's 11 for 11. You pay $11 and you get 11 minutes, and it's right there, pinned comment. Sherry says, before I go into picking or wait for the next name. It wasn't the night or the right time, and the baby would have had no dad. Everything happens for a reason. Well, that's good. Yeah, you good. You're heart goes out to you, sweetheart. All right. Now, Lenore just wrote Samantha McDonald. Ooh, yeah. So you hear, sweetheart, Sam McDonald. You hear? If you are, say yes. And what kind of read would you like? Yeah, it was shifted and then went out the door. So is she here? Sometimes people don't realize that their name's called and they're in the bathroom. So we may have to. All right. See, the darn thing moves on me and it's hard to find it. Yes, I'm here. Yay. Okay, sweetheart, anything in particular? Which I love it because I see you guys, I interact with you. You feel like my family, my tribe. You want to learn and grow, and we both want to get closer to our spirituality and more of our authentic self. I'm slouching because I can't see it. All right, wait for her to, and then you get 7 minutes, dear. Oh, that's seconds. There you go, I get that. Every day, I heal every day. It's important. Every day is very important to sit there and to intentionally live your life, because every day is a brand new day. You wake up, and then in the mornings you allow yourself to help create your day. Any bullshit you believe you need to heal out, it's very important. Anything, please? Yes. Okay. Oh, you know what streamers are, right? They had me look up because I'm looking. I don't know if they're paper streamers or what they are. I don't know if that means decoration, but they're showing me all, especially over here. It's like it could be lacy or white, but they are definitely streamers. Timer's on. Lenore, I did it. And I don't know what that means. So if you happen to know what that means, then you go ahead and let me know. But for you, we need to look at something about the past. In the past. The past in this life? No, the past in the past life. Okay. So, you want me to take the deck? Yes. Okay. Now, there is a deck that I use, and I have to create my other. I used to have another deck called the Phoenix deck, and it was about past lives, but my ex wouldn't allow me to have any of my stuff, so I'm starting over, and so that means I got to buy cards and other things. But the past life, this one's. Bye, Olivia. Next time. Wow. Okay, so there's a representative for a group of people that would love to say hello to you. There's an animal or two involved. I can see from what I can feel. But they're standing behind the line so that I'm not too bombarded with their frequencies. They've had physical issues here. And that's why the one is standing back, I think it feels like a woman. She says, I know you'll feel this, so I'm not going to cross that line. Because apparently she approached me before and I went into an asthma attack. Oh, so what an emotion is that? Feeling indifference. Okay, that's interesting. Now, so these are all clues. Everybody steps up, and then different clues will come up, and they're trying to spell something in particular. Now, Native American. What does that mean for you? Do you want 2 cards? Okay, so Native American is one, and then we'll just wait for them to draw the other one. Whether you remember them or not, like I remember my Native American one so strong. I was like fuck the white man. I was so mad. I come in, I'm like, I'm in a white body. But the feelings were so strong. They were so, I got it. I understood. It's like, because for me as a medicine woman, I was supposed to see that the tribes were supposed to be destroyed, and I'm supposed to be okay with that. But I had to, because there was a part of me that understood what was going on with the soul. But at the same time, feeling everybody's energy of trying to survive and to not let their species die and to keep the heritage alive. But there was also a lot of paradigms that were within the tribe that needed to be, what do you call it? To change for the better. Now, this is your dad's. Oh, okay. So dad, apparently, your grandma. No, she looks like a short woman. Well, see, they never show up the way they want. They like they usually do. So I can't ever go by that. But this was definitely a man, and he threw the card under the ground. And Atlantis. So we have two particular lifetimes that you're playing with. One's Native American and one's Atlantis. Now we have to figure out, and so then we got the word indifferent, and it's like there's no concern. It's like when you reserve, like, I just can't care anymore. What would be the best? Lenore, if you could look up indifference, that would be great. Because I'm supposed to read, as they say, because we don't want to waste time. And the Native American aspect that they want you to look at, you have an important past life as a Native American, which is connected to your current journey in this life. If you've been drawn to the Native American artifacts, cultures, and spirituality, this is because they're familiar to your soul. Studying Native American teachings can help you awaken ancient memories. Or this is about signify indigenous cultures from other countries as well. Perhaps you have some hidden anger or pain because you battled or lost during that time of being an indigenous person. As I was saying, I had to deal with that emotion, and I had no idea until I faced it and released it and no longer owned me. As with other past life traumas, a session with a qualified person will do the trick. Okay, but you need to release that love. Okay, in this way, you can retain the lessons and love from that timeline and release painful blocks. So we know that was indifferent was in where? In Atlantis, which then ended up coming into giving up. Was there another emotion with that? No, it said indifferent. It's indifferent for both those. So now we know the common link. And in Atlantis, it tells you your lifetime in ancient Atlantis is affecting your current situation. So, you, like I said, they're both doing that. You have a soul memory of the idyllic civilization that offered every imaginable wonders. There's a longing for the utopia that you unconsciously remember, and which you know is possible in this world. You say, wow, you got the two like I have. Your soul also remembers the tragic ending of Atlantis, and you may have developed a phobia about oceans as a result. Although you love the ocean sea, perhaps you prefer not to go swimming or sailing. Yeah, I can't do that. So the majority of the Atlanteans were peace-loving, yes, where Lemurians were more of the fierce, because there were two different extremes. One was peace-loving, and the other one was very angry, and they were always like the peasants or would rise up against the power, and the power then would. But at the same time, you're talking about two different parallel worlds that were living on. It was interesting. There's so much information out there on that. So the couple of the political leaders misused the crystal powers to determine it all. You may be extra sensitive to issues related to politics, corruption in this lifetime. I hope that makes sense to you, because the main thing that I'd walk away with this is to heal indifference. Because once you find the meaning of the word indifference, find the key part of that. That's very important. Very, very important, because indifference is that part. Again, I can't clarify enough that you need to define those words. I don't care how much you think you know it. It is in the key word itself that allows you to get that twang, that connection, that familiarity, that, oh yeah, I do that all the time type feeling. That is what we're looking for. And so now we'll go indifference, meaning, and see if my thing will work. It says having no particular interest or sympathy, unconcerned, neither good or bad or just mediocre. But the point is that when it stands out, it's like no particular sympathy for a particular thing. And maybe that particular thing keeps coming in your face. Like I know, like I became indifferent. Oh, they're saying shut up. Anyway, I will shut up. Let you rest with that, okay? All right. Oh, I gotta get back to Lenore. And she can pick out one more name, and this person will get 10. Not sure if Fridays are a good day to have a show at 1. I think Monday and Tuesday are good. I'd like to do more on YouTube, but it's hard to do. Mary Reardon, are you here? Mary Reardon. Oh, goodness. Mary says, I respect water. I almost drowned a couple of times. Yeah. It's your body is saying it's like muscle memory. It's really weird when you've had past experiences with water. It's like you want to be, like, I can swim, but then all of a sudden your body says, no, you can't. And it's interesting because it goes into an active memory. All right. So, Catherine, there she is. Hi, yes, I'm here. Anything, sweetheart, Mary, anything that you would like to just talk about, discuss, any shit that happened in your life that you want to, can you tell me why that happened? Yeah, I can. You just have to guide me to what you would like. Okay? Yes. Okay. Oh. I'm trying to see this energy here, and it's pointing like to the outside feeling, outside feeling, like outdoors, not just outside yourself. It's a feeling that you have that's oh, okay. So it says love to know about past lives. All right, so outside, does that have to do with part about being? No, that has to do with you having problems being compatible with the outside. Okay. Yes. Okay. So now we're just going to look. They prefer to help. And they're really quiet. It's tea time. Apparently we're there. Stop. That one. All right. You've had to deal in a past life with being hold on. I didn't skip anybody because anyway. Oops. Yeah, it's working. An orphan. Now, let's look at this. If the orphan cards come up, we can find out a little bit more. It says you drew this card because you had one or more past lives as an orphan. This is creating a current life abandonment fear for you. In those lives, you didn't have your mother and father's protection, love, or support. You developed a great strength and inner reliance, which continues to help you in this life. However, you may have also developed survival skills that are double-edged. These coping mechanisms help you get by, but they are also the blunt your heart and your emotions. Most likely, the card is a reminder to acknowledge that your true mother, father, God. You're also reminded that you have a family of choice consisting of friends and other loved ones, including your pets. In spiritual truth, it's impossible to be an orphan. If you tend to isolate yourself, you may benefit from seeking compassionate support. There's a 12-step emotional anonymous group. Or you can come here and we can begin to heal. So do you understand what it means about being a... Oh, wow. She says, and always... Okay. Hold on. Yes, someone told me I was a starseed from the universe. From the universe. Can't get it there. I am one of the 12. And always wished I was the only child. Okay, that's interesting. Is there another card that's another past life interplaying with this? Yes. Okay, let's find out what the second one is. All right. And what is her second one that has to do with orphan? Stop. That one. Apparently, in your one of your lives, you've had financial issues. Who hasn't? That's what I heard them say, or them say. I don't know. But finances. So whether it's good or bad, let's find out. So being an orphan, your relationship with money is being affected by your past life issues. For instance, you may have had a lifetime in extremely poverty or even wealth. I think that has to do with when you were an orphan, there was a lot of poverty going on around you. So in this lifetime, there is no such thing as individual savings account or separate possessions. As a result, you may find that your finances are perplexingly upsetting a mystery, or they're a roller coaster. So understand that money is energy and can be used for good purposes or negative ones. Knowing that money in itself is neutral, it is what you do with it that matters. Okay, so if you had learned the ability to, coping tools and survive, you would have that knowledge that you don't have any money, especially as a kid, and how you must take care of yourself. And you bring that as an adult, that can affect you, interestingly, a lot. So, does this make any sense to you? Okay, let me know, because they're saying that this particular past lives were like one and the same, but they created a lot of discourage. The discouragement or the discouraged feeling will come in, and part of your strategy when you're about ready to get something that you need, you become discouraged and go, I won't do that now. I'll wait. And then by you telling me that the star seed, I'm not getting much of anything on that. But they are saying that there is a particular outcome. So do you always want a particular outcome? No. Okay. There is something in particular that you do want, but you're afraid to get your hopes up? If that's the case, then understand that you have had this relationship of compatibility and repulsion. In this case, sometimes money you'll get repulsed by the money in a compatibility energy. So just when you think you're close to it, something will occur. So that's a particular pattern of hiccup. Now, okay, I need you to answer. on anything, because they're telling me that if you don't understand how it's connected, then they will give you another thing if necessary to help you understand that these past lives. And what I can hear already is that other people's voices, and they're talking their opinion, and then like it affects your happy-go-lucky self. And when that happens, it makes you stop and feel like you need to explain, or you need to correct yourself and then explain. So, and it makes you think, am I doing the right thing? So this goes back a little bit further. Am I doing the right thing? Well, if your mate is negative, that's going to, okay, so then if I look, why is your mate negative? And they say it has to do with compulsion. Yours, it's the energy. So you're drawing the negativity towards you because you expected them to be there for you. Oh, now that goes back to an orphan, where you believe that you expect something to be there for you, if that makes sense. And financially, when you have hardship, it can make you still say, I expected you to be there for me, because that's something that people need to fulfill. And so when, even if it's not about, it's, okay, she said, yes, I am always cheerful. Husband drags me down. And you have to understand that is a particular pattern. You're still choosing to be that way with him. And it is saying, yes, this is how we are coming together. If you were here in the beginning, then you heard how people go in sync and out of sync. The question is, are you growing together? Do you both want to grow together? And you can heal a particular thing. So, like if you're worried the relationship's going to go bad, get rid of the worry. Because the last thing you want to do is be abandoned. Now, saying that, it's important to understand that if you felt abandoned and that you're going to be let go, not that you need to let go, but you're going to be let go. If that makes any sense to you, then I would tell you that that's a huge one. That if you feel like you can't let go, or you might be let go, but there's nothing to fall back on, finances is usually helps a woman to have confidence to be able to know that she can survive. I mean, my mother had a choice with all of us kids, and she was going to leave a bad situation, but she didn't really know how. And having 5 kids, then all of a sudden, before, this is way back when, and before she knew that government would help, she put up with it. And then she finally found out that she finally got a job, and she had to face a bunch of fears, but she did it, and she was able to move from that space. Now, for you, if you wanted to heal on your own, you got to remember, you got to stick with it. You can't just put your hand in your head and think, okay, it's done. So if I said to you, take your left wrist, find the third position, 1, 2, 3. Okay. And you want the first one. And that underneath your thumb, you put your thumb. And then you put your finger here, turn it, fingers in the back. And you're going to place your hand on like this. Okay. You want to touch this point. Make sure you have the hairline and you have these points. And as you keep your hand like this, you're going to think about what we talked about. Why? Because it is about, it's feeling. You need to get all those things, build it up to a fat 10. And if you're good with color, you work with color. And as you work with color, understand you stay there. You stay there until the feeling is gone. Now, usually people quit when it's a 3 because it feels like it's done. The color sometimes will come in and say that it's not done, but stay there extra. But the color you want to eventually turn to white. Just don't think happy thoughts and switch it to white and to change the color and thinking about, no, that doesn't work. You need to stick with it. You literally need to keep your hand in that position to help you to get the feeling going. And you need to really allow your thoughts, pictures, the sounds, the sensory system, and you stay in that position. And sometimes it can take up to 5 minutes. And then all of a sudden it starts to dissipate. The thought begins to change. That intensity of that emotion gets to drop. And you can literally stay there until it's gone, until you're like, oh, where'd it go? I don't want it back. But you're like, yeah. And so once you witness that, you need to write down that I felt like this and now it's gone. And you keep that by witnessing to yourself, because later down the road, you're not going to believe you did anything. And then that's going to screw you up, because then you're going to go back into old patterns that you haven't changed yet, and then start building up because you just accepted it one more time. You start building up that higher self. Oh, good, she is. You start building up that higher self, and you begin to hold more of your authentic self. And the more that you do that, the more all of your troubles and fears start to resolve. And situations you didn't think you could get out of, all of a sudden you have opportunities. The potential out there begins to be handed to you, and you get to change what you want. And you either grow with the relationship or you grow separate, but you will also be moving from that spot. So important to heal your crap, okay? Now, I'm only drawn to a person if Spirit tells me to. It has nothing personally to do with me as much as Spirit goes, oh, them. And it's not about them getting their way. It's about the alignment. And that is important to understand. Yeah, you're shifting out of that state of being into a new state of being. Exactly right. And you can make yourself happy, but you can also remove all of those chains that weigh you down, and you'll find new opportunities will come into your space. Now, so I'm going to give you one card before we go, and that one card is for whoever that comes in. You can take it for what it's worth, but it is for your weekend. It is for you to things that you need to face. And for you to decide if you're done with a particular situation, a behavior, whatever. You got to make that bold choice. And they're saying, this one? No. This one. You want this deck? Okay. We're going to use the Heal Yourself reading cards from Ina Segal. And for your weekend, to give you that empowerment or whatever it is that you need, like in the quantum law of attraction, where you know, from ashes to ash, and that is you are going to heal and resolve and burn down and change who you are so that you can arise from just a human to a spiritual human. And the Phoenix Rising is the card. And then what do they have to say? You grab strength for one, and you just start pulling in the energy and pull out crap that's in you, and literally just pull it out. It says this is a time to create, but a time to sweep away everything that has not worked in your life. The reason so many things are breaking down and not going your way is because the old cycle of your life is completing. Closure is important. You may feel that you are walking through the fires of life right now in order to be cleansed and purified for your rebirth. Soon you will not recognize yourself. You're reclaiming your spirit. If possible, try to isolate yourself from the chaos surrounding you. Now's the time for you to feel any pain that you have previously suppressed so that you can heal. The universe has plans and opportunities that are far better than you can imagine. So let go and trust and anticipate what is coming. Now, interesting, that is what the topic has been all day. And I believe in you all that you can listen to your higher self, even if you feel like you're not connected. You're going to learn how to read it, how to be it, how to open that heart and get your higher self and your heart to be in sync. And then listen to your soul so that you can grow. All right, until next time. From what I can feel is I'll probably do Monday. When do I usually do it? Monday at, I don't remember. what time do I do it Monday? But again, if you want a reading, instead of sitting around waiting, you can do a reading. You can pay 11 for 11. I'll do it. This will be something, I guess, part. There's expedites if you want other things. And you can pay ahead of time, and then and I will find out if you're on during that show, and then we will mark it off. Okay? But we will get together. So if you want a reading, you can have one. And I think Monday is at 1 and Tuesday's at 9 p.m. I think that's how I do it. So, thank you very much. See you next time. And like I always say, stay blessed.